Hello! Today we will learn how Unreal Engine can communicate with external systems using APIs. APIs allow our game or application to talk to servers, database, and third-party services, such as login system, player profiles, leaderboards, payment, or even AI service. API is Application Programming Interface. An API is a set of rules that allow two systems to communicate with each other. It acts as a bridge between your application and another service. API are commonly used to send data or receiving data. Let me explain it in a simple way. The Unreal Engine here is the client and the server is the service. API the messenger between them. When Unreal Engine sends a request, the server gonna process it. Then the server gonna send a response back. All of that happened through the APIs. Let's explain the idea of an API using a real-life example. Imagine you are sitting in a restaurant. You are the customer. This represents Unreal Engine. The kitchen is where the food is prepared. This represents the server. And the waiter is the one who takes your order, delivers it to the kitchen, and brings the food back. This is the API. You never go into the kitchen yourself. You don't need to know how the food is cooked or what happens inside. You only talk to the waiter. In the same way, Unreal Engine does not directly access the server. It sends requests through the API, and the API brings back the response. So the API is simply the communication layer between Unreal Engine and the server. In this lesson, we will learn how to use APIs in Unreal Engine using the VaRest plugin. First, we will add the VaRest plugin to the engine. Then, create a new project and enable it. After that, we will create a widget and connect it to a server to read the JSON data, including the player's name, level, and gold. Finally, we will build a simple login system and display the character name above the player's head in the game. In this lesson, shows the full workflow from API communication to in-game UI and gameplay. Keep watching.
So first of all, let's open Fab Market here and look for VaRest plugin, which is the plugin we're gonna use for connect with API and read-write JSON files. As you see here, I already added to my library. You just press on here, press on it, add it to your library, and then select the engine you want to install on it. In my case, we're gonna use for this tutorial Unreal Engine 5.5. So I'm going to install it in this specific engine. As you see here, slot at add plugin to, and I'm gonna select Unreal Engine 5.5, press install, wait a couple of seconds, and you should be ready to go. Okay, now we should be ready to go. Navigate to Unreal Engine section, and let's check whether the plugin is already installed on our engine or not. You can always press and install the plugin to check what plugin you have already installed in the engine. So now this is the plugin we want, VaRest REST API with the blueprints. Press close and then launch the engine. And let's create our first project for this tutorial. Wait a couple of seconds until the Unreal Engine window shows up. Okay, perfect. Just go to game section, select third personal template, keep it as blueprint because we're gonna use blueprint for this tutorial, and then keep everything as it here, and then name your project. In my case, I'm gonna name it tutorial API, and then press create. Wait until the engine is initialized and opened. Okay, so the project is opened. First things first, you need to do is we need to open the plugin. The best way to do is going to menu, edit, then plugins, and look for type here VaRest. Let's activate a VaRest plugin to use it inside this project. So press toggle it to true here. It requires you to restart your project to take effect. Press restart now. Okay, it should be ready now. Just type again VaRest to make sure you enable it. Yes, it's enabled and in the project. Okay, close this window and let's go to the next section. Okay, let's start with creating our first widget. So first things I like to do is organize my work with creating a new folder. Just click on your empty space in your content browser, a new folder, and just name it blueprints, and then open this folder, and inside this folder again create widgets folder, and you just can organize all your widgets here, so you know where the widgets in which specific folder there. Okay, so uh, let's create our first widgets here. So press right click here, user interface, and select widgets blueprint. Pick this class, pick user widget class, and let's name it top bar widgets. Okay, double click, open it, and we should be inside the widgets now. Okay, go to palette here and look for canvas panel. Just type canvas panel and import it here. That's good. Okay, the other things I want to add is a vertical box, and go to anchor here and let's make it at full size. Alright, so did this to 0 and this to 0, so now it's take the full size. Alright, let's add now horizontal box to keep things aligned horizontally at the top. Alright, okay, then let's add text. This is the first text we want to add it. Okay, and let's add another text also inside the horizontal box, so we have two text here. Okay, so first text, let's name it like name, and here just delete the empty thing here. Alright, we make it like that. Press on the other text here, make it as a variable, and let's name it as name text. So we make it variable to access it in the graph section later on. Okay, now we can copy and paste this horizontal box. Okay, one time. I think we need it, yeah, another one time. Okay, so we can here start editing things. Here name, we can say level, and here we can say gold. Okay, alright, that's good. Let's rename these variable names. Instead of name, here is level. Alright, and then another one is going to be gold text. Okay, hit compile and save. Just keep spamming this, it's really useful and important. And then let's go to graph section. Alright, amazing. In the graph section, okay, we need the event construct. I'm not gonna use pre-construct or event text, so I'm gonna delete them and go a little bit down, press right click and choose custom event, and let's call it get data. And that's amazing. Before we getting the data, let's go to the next section where we're going to create a JSON file. So to create your JSON file, just open a folder and right click, go create, let's say text file. I'm going to say data and then remove the extension and call it JSON. That's thing. Okay, I'm sure to change the type, yes, or you just could open any IDE and create the folder there. So I'm gonna open it. It's open in Visual Studio Code. That's what I need. And then let's create this file. Okay, let's start the object. We start that object and let's create attributes. So first of all, I need to create first attribute is the name. So I'm creating the name and then I'm gonna give it a value. Okay, then let's create the other attribute, which is level, and then we're gonna give it a value. If you noticed here, I'm gonna give the name a string value, which is that's mean this value is gonna be string because the value is string. This variable or this attribute is gonna be string. Okay, for this let's make it like integer and say something like 5. Okay, and then we need another attribute which is, let's say, gold, and let's make it 99. Okay, to work. For the name, let's name this guy is Adam. Alright, hit save, Control S, or just save, and now the JSON file is ready. So we have the name, we have the level, and we have the gold. Okay, how I run this file? Actually, I'm using exam server, so you can install it if you want to create a local environment or you use another things. I'm using XAMPP, Apache, so this works in localhost port 80, and I put this inside, as you see, XAMPP htdocs API. So I'm gonna call this link, but instead of using C, I'm gonna use localhost. So localhost is gonna open, then localhost is gonna open htdocs and then API, then the name of this file. So the link should be like this, localhost API, then data. Okay, data.json should be this link. Okay, let's take this link and go back to Unreal Engine. So actually we can visualize our JSON file just by going to open your browser, type the link here, paste it here, and then press enter. We can see it now with the attributes, so we can visualize it and make sure the server is ready, up and ready. By the way, you could use production server wherever you have, just make sure you can connect to it. Alright, let's go back to Unreal Engine, and then here in your graph just type look for right click and look for VaRest subsystem. Alright, click on it, then take from return value to look for construct JSON request. So we need to construct this JSON request here. Right, press on it, then connect the wire here. Alright, there's a couple things you need to take care of. The verb, the methods that we gonna connect. In our case, we're gonna connect to the get. So keep it as it. You could we gonna use post also in this tutorial, but for now we're gonna use get. Alright, and keep the content type to XWW form URL encoded URL. Right, keep it as it. Alright. Then the next things we need to do is let's promote this to variable and let's call it the construct JSON request. Alright. So then let's listen to this connection. So we bind when the connections happened. We bind it to event, and then that's how we know that's a connection happened, and then we start reading the values. So press type here bind on request complete, and then also type bind on request fail. So also we need to know when the request goes fails. Right, so let's start with fail. Take the wire here and type custom event on, let's name it on request fail. In that case, I just want to print a string, like type here request fail. Alright, then go to other event on request complete. Same way, create a new custom event and let's say on complete. Okay, we will get back to this custom event, but before that let's process the URL. Now nothing gonna happen because we don't connect to an API yet, so let's process to process the URL, so the connection is gonna happen. So then after we set up all of that, let's process URL. Okay, so just paste the URL, we have it here. Okay, let's go back to incomplete. Here incomplete, as you see, we have it's returned back the request JSON object reference. So from this we're going to get the response, have it from this request, right? So let's get response. You can get the response content, you can get that content as string and just print it right away. But in our case we need it as objects. We need to take it as objects, so we deal with this JSON file. Okay, so we have the response now, and then let's find the attributes we have from this the attributes we had from the JSON file. So to get one of these attributes, let's type get string field. So what the string field is this. We said we have one string field, which is the name. You could copy it and then go back here, paste it. So the value of this field we should get it from here. Alright, before we do anything further, I would like to check if this response is valid or not. because if this response is not valid, we're not gonna get anything from it, right? So yes, then we need to get the integer fields. So the same way, let's get integer field. We have two integer fields, so let's get them both. Same thing, we have level and we have gold. Let's tie them here. This is level and here is gold. Alright, and we need to fill these values into our widgets here. So the name should take the name, and the gold should take the gold, etc. Alright, so let's go to the name, start with the name, and then let's type here set text as usual. Okay, so we gonna set the text for the name. Let's do the same for level, set text, and we do the same for gold. Okay, and then let's connect the string field with name. Alright, level with level, and gold with gold. Hit compile, save, and now we should be ready to go on this event. It's get data. When we want to get that data, go to your event construct and let's call it get data. I set it on custom event to keep things organized. Maybe I want to call this event from not when we initiate the construct, maybe when you press a button, so you just call this event and everything should work perfectly for you. Alright, that's it for now, and let's go to the next section. Alright, let's test what we did. Go back to your content browser, third personal template, blueprints, and let's open our character here. Alright, so what we want to do is to add this widget to the character. We can use event begin play, and then let's look for create widget. In class, select the widget we have, which is top bar widgets, and let's add it to viewport so we can see it. And that's it for now. Okay, hit compile and save, and let's play. As you see at the top left screen, we have name, level, and gold. Alright, that's good. So we now access these data and we can read it. Go back to your design here and let's add, okay, we can actually add padding from left like that, and let's add a little bit from top so we can see it. Once again, go to your play, new editor window, and we can see it good here. Okay, so the name is Adam, level is 5, and gold 99. Let's try to change these values and save this file. Okay, so instead of 5, let's say
25 and let's make it 1000 here. Hit save, go back to your Unreal Engine and let's hit play, and you see it's updated, and that's amazing. So we can now read from this file on the server. Then let's go to the next section. Okay, now let's try to create a login screen where the player can enter this level third personal template whenever he succeed login from login screen. So to do that, we actually need to connect with real API, but in this time I have, for this demonstration, a Laravel backend on my local machine here. I run it on local server here, so we can try to connect with it. The actual IP here is my local machine IP and port 8000. To access the API actually in Laravel, you just type API slash then the routes you want, and let's say login. Okay, I can't do it from a browser. It's gonna complain that get method is not supported, so we're gonna do it from another tool to test it out. Okay, so the other tool is Postman. Postman is widely used for testing the API and I'm strongly suggest to use it. It's a free tool. Just go ahead and Google it, download it if you want to test the APIs before you start applying it. So as you see here, we can do here the login, and I'm sending JSON format to the server as a row. Okay, and then there is also headers. You can define the headers. We will gonna also define it in our blueprints if you have authorization here, but for the login we don't need the authorization. So going to the body, we provide the email and password and then hit send here to login, and you see we get response from the server. It's working. So let's reflect that on Unreal Engine by creating login widgets and then applying this API. Okay, go ahead and go to your content browser widgets and let's create a new widgets. Right click, user interface, and widget blueprints. Select user widget class and let's say login underscore widget. Double click and open it up. Alright, let's try to create this widget. I usually like to start like with vertical box here, then we can add border and fill it. Then let's add another vertical box inside this border. Okay, and it's nice to have a logo, which is we can do it by adding the image here. Okay, let's put it in the middle and we add the logo. You add the logo or you add an image for the login. So for this demonstration tutorial I prepared a logo. Alright, so I have the image here like for login screen. Go back to your projects and let's go back to content browser. Actually I want to create a new folder and I will call it textures, and maybe inside the textures I can do another folder like icons. Alright, so then drag and drop it in your content browser here, and you see we can now see this texture or this icon already inserted in this project. Okay, let's select that, go select the image on details panel, brush. Okay, let's find it. This is our icon. Press on it and it's all white, right? We can adjust that thanks for Unreal Engine tool here. We can play with tint color and you see now we can see the image perfectly
colored. Go to image size. Let's going with 50. No, it's small a little bit. 250 maybe. Okay, it looks better here. And let's add a little bit padding, like 20 from everywhere, and from top actually I want like 50. Yes, it looks better. Okay, now let's try to add a text box. Not text box. For this text, let's change the color to something like black here. I want it to add the middle, and I will say login screen, or just login form. All right. Then let's add a horizontal box to vertical box. Just drag it and drop it inside the vertical box. So we want to align things horizontally, align two elements horizontally. So we do here horizontal box. Look for text box again. First let's add text, and once again we need for this text adjust the color. Let's make it something like that. Okay, then let's add text box here. So we have also the text box fill. As you see, the text box is filling all the space, but we don't want that. So if we do this, you can see there is no much space here. To solve this, let's add size box, and I'm going to add this size box inside the horizontal box, and I will put the editable box here, text box, inside the size box, and then I will tell the size box the width I want it, like 500. That's good. Okay, then for the text box here, we can say here email, where the user should enter his email. And for this text box, editable text box, let's try to change the colors and these things. First, let's try to change the tint color to something like, we can set it like logo. Yeah, that's good. Alright, so we can do this, and let's copy this and do it in hovered and focused, and I will leave the read only. Go to text style, the font, I think we are good with this font. For the color, maybe we do it like white for the text here inside it. And okay, that's it for now. Then let's try to copy this horizontal box and paste it inside the vertical box. So we have another horizontal box, right? Okay. Actually, let's add padding like 20 for each horizontal box. Okay. Here, let's change this to password. Okay. Then we need, I think, from top, let's make it 10. Yeah. And then let's look for button. Add it to your vertical box here. And then add text box. We add text inside the button here. For the color, we could use also the same color we have, and let's type here login.
and make it like that. Okay, it's look nice. Let's edit the style. I like to actually make the style a little bit. We could use colors like maybe something like that. Okay, then let's change the color of this to like white. Okay, then let's add padding for the text, so we make the button a little bit bigger. And for here, we drawing the text box as rounded box, so we can modify the edges. It's by default from the Unreal Engine, and let's make it smoother. I add 15. Yeah, it looks nicer now. Okay, then I'm going to copy that style, paste it over again here, and once more again here, and then we can actually adjust the hovered here button and make it maybe looks like that. Okay, and one last thing, I need to copy this text box again, and I'll paste it here and make it here, just in case we want to show error message. We can show it here. Just make it empty for now. Make the color for it like something like red here to notify user if we had an error. Alright, and let's name it, convert it to variable. I will start with this status text, or whatever suits you, just name it. And we also need the editable text box here, email text box. Then go to other one, which is editable text box, name it with password text box. Go to login button here and name it login button. It's good to name it because you can, when you go to graph, you can keep tracking this, and you see everything is organized and clean. Okay, that's it for this screen. We're going to go to the graph in next section. Okay, let's go to graph and establish the connection and a request. Once again, I don't want the event pre-constructs and I don't want the event text, so I'm gonna delete them. Go a little bit down, right click, custom event, and let's call it login. Okay, once more again, let's get type here VaRest subsystem and set it here. From return value, let's take a wire and look for construct JSON request. This time we're going to use method post because the server requesting us to use post. We can check it here. We are using post, so we have to use it here. Keep x www form URL encoding URL same, and then let's promote this to variable, and I will call it JSON request. Alright, now we need to, the server requesting, we need to ask the server to return us a certain header. Okay, so we accept JSON. So to define that, let's look for set header here, and then what the header name is, accept. Okay,
application JSON. That's we that's way we tell the server we accept JSON format files. Okay. All right. Then let's do uh, um, the server is requesting if we want to log in, so we have to send body request, right? So we have to send email and password. Let's set this, so we can say set, let's set request object, sorry, it's not set request objects, get request object. We get the request object, then inside this request object we set string field. This field is, first one is email, and then let's set string field. This time we're going to set the password, the password field. Okay, we have the email text box here, so we get text, and then we connect this text to string value. Let's do the same for the password text box. We get the text from this component, and then we set it here. So the user enter the email, it's gonna set it in this email field value. The same for the password. All right. Then what we want to do is we need to listen to the request when happen. So let's append on request complete, and then on request failed, append and request failed. Okay, so on request complete, let's do custom event and say login completed, whatever you want, whatever suits you. And here custom event, we can say it on request fail. And just for now, or we can actually get the status text here and say set text like we can say error can't connect, whatever you want. You can type the error here. Last one thing, we need to process the URL, process the URL, sorry. Alright, yeah, it works again. So we process the URL and we say the URL is 127.0.0.1, then it works on port 8000. You're gonna put here your actual production URL if you want. Just now it's on my local machine, the server running on my local machine, and I'm testing from here. Then API, because I'm using Laravel, and then we need login route. Okay. Now let's hit compile and save, and let's go to the request object. Okay, let's try to get the get respawn request, respawn object. So we get the spawn object from their spawn object inside this request. When the request is completed, let's check if this valid is valid. And then we need to once again to make sure we have this object. Okay, token we can read it as string value, but this user we treat it as an object. If you see here, this is as object. So we have to call object field, so you can say get object field, and this object field should be user. Let me get back here again. If we do failure login here, you see there is error and message and not allow us to get the user information because this user is not here. Alright, if we do successful login, it's back with token and it's back with the user information. And this demonstration we actually care about the user information. So now if we have the user information, that's mean if this valid, that's mean we successfully logged in, right? So let's make sure this is valid. If this valid, that's mean we already have successfully logged in these data to user information. So now this is an object, right? So we can read it from this object. The objects now looks like this. So inside this objects we have attributes like ID, which is integer field, and we have a string field equal to admin here. Let's try to read the name. So we from this object get string field, and this time I want to get the name. And let's promote this name for now to a variable. I will call it player name. Okay, hit compile and save, and then let's go to the next section. Okay, now we need to add this name upside the character head, right? So let's go back to the third personal character here. Go to viewport, select that's capsule component or the third personal character, whatever, and press add here, and this type text render. Alright, we have this text here. Okay, let's adjust it a little bit to the middle like that, yeah. And then I will rotate it by 180 degree so it faces the camera, so we see from this point. Yeah, we see the character like that, so we can read it now. Okay, hit compile and save. Then let's go back to login widget here, and from here right click, then type get player character, then cast to third personal character. So we have the character now, and then as third personal character here, let's look for text render component. Let's find, yeah, here, get text render. Okay, we get the text render. Now we need to set inside this text render the text, so look for set text, and there we go, this is the text. We need to set this to be the text. Okay,
and then we need to remove this widget. To remove this widget, once more again, let me show you. You type here remove from parent. Under the widget here, remove from parent. So we remove this widget. Okay, now if this is not valid, that means the user has error when he tried to log in. We have to tell him there is error when you try to log in. So once more again, let's get status text here and type set text. Say username, or we use email or password is wrong. Okay. That's it for now. But before that, actually I don't want the event construct. Let's go back to design, and then let's go to the button login here. And on a click event, let's type here login, which is our event. We just did it. Okay, hit compile and save. There's a thing here about password field. I'm gonna show you in a second. But before that, minimize this, go to the level here, open the level blueprint, and let's looking for a event begin play, and let's create widget. Okay, this widget is going to be login. Let's add it to viewport so we can see it and visualize it, interact with it. Now we add it to the viewport. But if you see, I can't press anywhere in the screen. To enable a press on screen, you need to see the mouse crosshair, right? So to do that, we can get player controller, and from a player controller we can see show, we can looking for show mouse, show mouse crosshair, and set it to true. Okay, and we have to do the same and set it for false when we successfully logged in, right? So let's go back here, and we successfully logged in here. So let's do the same. Get player controller and set show mouse crosshair, and we set it to false. Then we remove the widgets from parent. Okay, hit compile, save, and let's try it. Okay, it shows the screen now, and let me show you what we can do here. We can write email and it looks good. And for the password, the problem here is we can't see the password, right? So thanks to Unreal Engine, they implement in their text editable text box here something called is password. Just press on it from here, from hierarchy, or you just press on it in the widget and enable as password.
hit compile, save, go back again, try to type in. It looks like password and it's password. Okay, so let's test it out and try to take this email, put it down here and save the password, copy it, and we paste it here and try to log in, and there we go. So we logged in. The player is admin. As you see, the name is admin and we successfully logged in, and that's really amazing. This is what we want. So we read from JSON file the attributes and values, like the name, level, whatever is it, and then we show the name up ahead of the character, as you see. Okay, by the way, the name in the left side upside corner is coming from the other JSON file. It's not from the Laravel backend. We did it, so you can adjust where you want, and we do all of these examples here in this map. So you can separate it, and you can have one endpoint control everything, and everything should works with you perfectly. Thank you for watching.